personal. It's personal between me and you, and I'm going to do you some serious harm, you big stiff idiot.
The Untouchable True School Sports Empire proudly presents something the boxing game's missing. Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. Now, if you guys were on the latter part of that live, you guys know why I said the word boxing like that. But shout out to everybody who joined us for the live. This is the Brandon Figueroa Magsayo post-fight review, and the result of the fight is a Brandon Figueroa workmanlike performance, a unanimous decision, but a fun fight. But an equally weird fight. So let's talk about it. So, I'll let Pops talk about it first. Pops, what did you make of Brandon Figueroa versus Magsayo?
I think actually tonight was a good night, a better night of boxing than what I thought going into these matches. I think that I seen Magsayo in the earlier rounds. He actually tweaked his game, was more active, kind of combinations, doing everything. But as the fight went on, he just tired out, and it cost him the fight with the 2 points. And on the other side of the end, for Brandon Figueroa, it was great to see him win. You did call it. You told me during the live. You said Brandon is good at toward later rounds.
Yeah, he gets better, stronger as the fight goes on.
And he showed tonight, and that's why he won the fight, and that's why he got the next one with Vargas. But my biggest surprise of the whole night.
We'll get to that in a second.
Okay.
We'll get to that in a whole second. But really good fight from Figueroa. Magsayo was good for me. Like, from my vantage point, I thought Magsayo was good for like the first 6 rounds, and then somewhere around like latter round 6, early round 7, he just started holding, and he couldn't stop holding, and he held and he held and he held, and he ducked under with his head, and it cost him dearly. I mean, or maybe it didn't, because the scorecards are pretty wide. I mean, I
don't know what the
109, 118.
I don't know what they were looking at, but whatever the case may be, I would just say that
the right guy won.
The right guy won. I mean, towards the later rounds, I mean, you could see Magsayo's stamina was gone.
Completely shot, and you know, he was doing his thing with the eye-catching punches. He had that one flurry offense where he threw like 4 straight left hooks in a row and then a straight right hand. But ultimately, the more consistent fighter, the guy that was just grinding him down and getting better, was Figueroa. And mind you, Figueroa got to a pretty bad, from my scorecard, I thought he got to a pretty bad start because he kept switching a lot in the first 4, 5, 6 rounds. And
we didn't know what game plan he had.
He looked like we didn't know what game plan he had. And then, you know, it looks like he had a game plan all along. His game plan was to show Magsayo different looks and fatigue him. And then once he fatigued him, kind of grind him down late. And that's what he did. So he wins the fight. You know, I think it's a great way for him to enter the featherweight division. You know, to your first fight in the new weight class, beat a former featherweight champion in Magsayo in a really entertaining fight. I wouldn't mind if they ran it back. I feel like this is the kind of fight that was so exciting that, you know, despite the wide scorecards, the fight was closer than the scorecards indicated. And I think, you know, a rematch could be something that they look at down the road. And on top of that, what I also can say is that the wide scorecards, in the way, in my opinion, this is only me, this is not Pops, this is my opinion. Yeah. The wide scorecards were like poetic justice for me because I thought that Gary Russell got absolutely hosed when he fought Magsayo. Mm-hmm. And you know, when he asked Magsayo and Sean Gibbons for a rematch, they you know, Sean Gibbons was kind of like giving him the cold shoulder, not wanting to give him the rematch. But now, fast forward, Magsayo's lost both his fights since the Gary Russell fight. He ain't won a fight since the Gary Russell fight. So, with that being said, I think that Gary Russell Jr. fight should happen sooner rather than later. What are you gonna say?
You read my mind, and that's how Father and Son are. I was gonna ask you the same thing. Where does Magsayo go from here? And you already said it. So
Figueroa can fight.
And what's funny about it is I got on Figueroa from the last fight when he walked off and he's a loser. But at least Figueroa talked to the people. Mm-hmm. So I got that much respect. For the Philippines, Magsayo being a sore loser or Sean Gibbons is wrong message to send about Philippine fighters. That just because you lose is not the end of the world, and that's what happened.
Yeah, so you know, things definitely heating up at 126. You know, Figueroa will probably fight Vargas. You know, there's also a lot of other great fighters at 126 that have belts or are in contention. You know, guys like Mauricio Lara, Venado Lopez, and then as we talked about earlier today, Odebek Komota, Bruce Lee. So 126 definitely heating up, but wasn't just all about Figueroa and Magsayo. There were some other things to talk about. I think it's kind of hard to pick who was the story of the night because, man, both these fighters really impressed. We'll start with the 19-year-old Elijah Garcia, the southpaw from Arizona, he took on Amilcar Vidal from Uruguay, who was a fighter that was steadily working his way up the rankings. One of those Samson Lukowicz fighters.
He was ranked number 9.
Number 9 in the WBC. One of those Samson Lukowicz fighters that
of course,
was discovered by him, and he's kind of brought along nicely. And this is a big fight for him. And Garcia being 19 to take a fight like this, it shows you a lot about his character and who he is. And when we were live, I told Pop's first round, even when he was getting hit with some shots, because Amilcar Vidal has that real volume style.
Mm-hmm.
I loved his body language. I love his body language. I love how he was holding his ground and just the way he was fluidly shooting off his combinations. And
one of the biggest thing I like about him, one word that would describe him, is poise and maturity.
Yeah, for being such a young guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he wound up actually folding Amilcar Vidal up in, I think, what was it, like round 5 or 6?
Yeah.
Like, it was a standard performance. Like, he really announced himself to the world today. So
look out for him.
Look out for him. I'm definitely gonna make a longer video about him because he earned himself a True School Sports video. But Amilcar Vidal, like, he was one of these guys, I watched him and he was good at what he does, but I was never really overly impressed with him. So I'm not like shocked that he lost, but it was shocking to me how impressive and how poised this young man was at 19 years old, fighting an experienced ranked contender like an Amilcar Vidal. So that's how you make a statement in boxing.
And what's crazy about it, I was telling BT, it's crazy sometimes when you meet somebody that reminds you of somebody. The way he spoke, the way he carried himself. His demeanor reminded me a lot of
Virgil Ortiz.
I'm not saying he's going to be a Virgil Ortiz. I wish him the best, and I want him the best. But what I like, and I'll say it again, that word poise.
Yep.
He didn't make a lot of mistakes. He didn't throw crazy punches. He took his time and thought out the fight and threw combinations. We needed to throw combinations and carry himself the way he should. And the best part of what I like, he gave all the credit to the Lord.
That's it. Amen. Shout out to Jesus. But the other fight on the card, kind of switching gears, Jarrett Hurd, right? The former 54-pound champion. Last time we seen or heard from him, he got beat up by Luis Arias on the Logan Paul Mayweather undercard back in the middle of 2021. So it's been a long time. He's, been dealing with some stuff outside the ring. His father passed away. He recently hooked up with former middleweight contender and world title challenger Andrew Council. And he's been trying to kind of refine his style at 160, right? So he fought a Mexican fighter tonight in 13-1, Jose Armando Resendiz, I should say.
From someone
from like a beach part of Mexico, supposedly. But this guy, 24-year-old fighter, he went out there and he made a statement. Now, don't get it twisted. Jarrett Hurd was doing his thing in the middle rounds. He actually was able to fight the way I'm sure Andrew Council drew it up in the game plan, fighting off that tall, long, rangy frame, walking this dude into counter punches, all kinds of things, jabbing him, up jabs, beautiful jabs. But it got to the point where this Mexican fighter, Jose Armando Resendiz, he just kept getting the angle on him, and he kept, the more he got the angle on him, the more cleaner shots started landing. And then what wound up happening is Jarrett Hurd, as he got hit, started to fight the way he fought at 54. And that was like Christmas come early for this Mexican fighter. And it got to the point where he beat Jarrett Hurd up so badly, he lacerated his lip. And the ringside position stopped the fight. So, Jose Armando Resendiz has announced himself to the world as a player at middleweight. So now
I like him.
Middleweight's getting some guys, that are rising.
This guy
Ian
right
Green,
here,
this guy,
talking
Garcia.
about the American dream, the opportunity. The guy was very optimistic, and he came in here, and nothing that Hurd did to him.
Really fazed him.
No disrespect to Hurd. I was still a big fan of him. Faced him. He just kept coming in. And eventually, my son was telling me that a lot of fighters, it's hard to train. The fighters have been fighting like 20, 30 fights, and whatever case may be. You can't just change your old horse with teach your old horse new tricks. And he reverted back to himself, and that could have cost him the fight. And eventually it did. But you gotta give respect. With respect, this dude, we call it straight shot. We gotta respect this Mexican. He came here.
He did his thing. So you had two fighters rise from the ashes tonight: Jose Armando Resendiz and Elijah Garcia, both coincidentally middleweights. So
crazy.
Someone said in the chat, I think it was my boy Eddie Morales, or might have been Jesus M. Shout out to both of you guys. Can't remember who it was right now, but they said maybe Jose Armando Resendiz against Elijah Garcia. Tank Ryan card. That'd be a fight. That'd be an amazing fight.
I don't know who I like both fighters because they both come in there
I think Elijah would beat him.
I'm going with my heart. I'm going with the other guy.
You going with Jose
Garcia?
Elijah, yeah, I like that for Garcia.
I like Garcia.
A little
I think
more.
He's young. He's prime. He does what I like about
Jose
him.
is good though. Jose got a lot of craft.
Don't
He got
get me
a lot of
wrong.
craft to
He
him.
comes in there, and I think if they were to fight, I think Garcia's a taller fighter, and this guy right here,
Jose Resendiz
would come in there and do his angle. That's not going to work on this guy. This guy, as young as he is, I always look at a young fighter and see what they come out with. And what I loved about him, he kept leading with the jab, and then as the fight went on, he knew how to throw his combination. He didn't just throw crazy punches. He actually, thought his punches off and did what he had to do, and he held his poise. And poise is a big thing for a young fighter. It holds him back from making a lot of big mistakes. And again, I like him also because he gave praise to the Lord.
Right. Well, on that note, that's our review on the card. So you guys can let us know what you think. Give us your thoughts on Brandon Figueroa against Magsayo, Jose Resendiz beating up Jarrett Hurd, and Elijah Garcia bursting onto the scene with a big stoppage victory over Amilcar Vidal. Really fun out of boxing. You listen, people always say BT, you hate Al Heyman, this, that, and the third, but I give credit where credit is due. Right now, I have my reasons as to why I think this, but it doesn't matter what the reason is. They're getting the fights done, and right now, PBC and Al Heyman probably have the best, in America at least, they have the best fight schedule in boxing. So shout out to them for another great night of boxing. And on that note, like I say in every single one of these videos, you guys can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Daniel. So until next time, take care, guys. Thank you for watching another video on the untouchable True School Sports Empire. For more great boxing content just like this video, click right here and make sure you subscribe. Much love from sunny South Florida.